The Final Furlong podcast is proudly brought to you by Jeff Banks Bet. Join the excitement and sign up to Jeff Banks online now to get 10% off any net losses returned as cash after your first month of betting up to £500 at jeffbanks.bet. Welcome to the weekend forecast on the Final Furlong podcast. I'm Emmet Kennedy, joined by two men who are in superb form. I did all right myself last week. We got you a bucket load of winners, and hopefully the gravy train will continue to roll on at Doncaster, the Curragh and Leopardstown this weekend as we get straight into the action and preview the final classic of the season, the St. Leger, where the betting is headed by great Voltigeur runner-up, Illinois. That's a race that has produced 18 winners since 1980. It is the most significant classic trial for the race, and Illinois is the 7-4 market leader with Jeff Banks Bet as we record, ahead of the Aidan O'Brien posse of Jan Bruegel and Grosvenor Square between 4-1 and 9-2. Irish Oaks winner You Got To Me is a 5-1 shot, having been supplemented. David Manussier has got Christophe Soumillon to ride Sunway. Serious player Sam Morgan tipped him up at a much bigger price than he is now at sevens. And Diramile, first time blinkers, a 16-1 shot, ran in the Derby. That race has produced 9 of the last 22 winners, at least competed in the Derby. Wild Waves should give the owners a nice day out at 66-1. Peter, who is going to win the St. Leger, and which of the three of Aidan O'Brien's is going to do it?
Well, I was just going to say Aidan O'Brien. It would have been easier. Yeah, I think he'll win it. I don't know with who, lads. They're obviously running 3 in it. It's hard for me to choose out of the 3 of them. I mean, I don't think there's much between them. As you said, we know how Grosvenor Square is going to be ridden. He's going to go to the front. Gavin Ryan is a very good jockey, so it would be great to see him win a classic. I don't know how old he is now, but he's still relatively young. Illinois obviously brings very solid form into it. Jan Bruegel brings more potential into it than, I mean, he's unbeaten, obviously, so he's done nothing wrong, but he has to improve a little bit. And Grosvenor Square brings very likeable form from his last 2 runs into it. I really don't know. Sorry, I don't know. I think I lost you boys there.
No, we're here. You're in solo layout. The focus is all on you, Peter.
Well, I'm going to take a chance and go for the outside of the O'Brien horses, Grosvenor Square, and just hope Gavin Ryan can get his fractions right up front and hope he can hold on and see them off. But I have no firm selection. If I'm going to be betting the race, I might put the 3 O'Brien horses in a combination tri-cast and do it. You won't make much, but you won't be far away from getting it up, I think. That's the way I probably play that. But I don't see anything there that's major value, but I would go for Grosvenor Square out of the 3 of them because he's the biggest price, and I think they all have similar chances.
They should just run this race on the Ballydoyle Gallops. It would just be easier for everybody, quite frankly. I think. Well,
you can't rule out You Got Me. You Got To Me as well. You put in when you were introducing the horses. You mentioned she's got good form. You can't rule by Nathaniel as well. Going to relish the extra 2 furlongs. And you're saying Sam Morgan, I think it was, it tipped up Sunway.
Yeah.
So it's maybe it's not as easy for Aidan as I said, but I'd imagine he'll win it and probably come second and third.
I think You Got To Me is fascinating. It's very intriguing that Rafe Beckett has decided to supplement her for the race. That being said, she'd only be the second filly to win this race since User Friendly back in 1992. 22 fillies have tried and 22 fillies have failed. And Simple Verse might have been first past the post that day, but she lost the race in the steward's room and had to get it back on appeal. Now, the plus side is it's Rafe Beckett, and he won the race in 2015 with Simple Verse, but I think it's a real stiff task for her. Andy, very keen to hear what you have to say. Who do you think is going to win the St. Leger, and which of the Aidan O'Brien trio is going to do it?
Well, I mean, Aidan's won it, 7 times, but he's still actually a long way off the record haul of John Scott in the 1800s, who remarkably has won the Leger 16 times.
Damn.
So Aidan is, he's got a few more to go to catch that. We've got no Buick, Murphy, Marquand, Ryan Moore obviously riding. They're all, jetting off. I think Buick and Murphy are in Canada at the weekend. They're coming back on Sunday to go to Ireland, I think. And then Marquand and Moore, obviously, in Ireland on Saturday. So that, the jockey situation, it's not the sort of stars on show here, but Aidan's got 3 of the 7, and it's going to be odds on. I'd suspect that one of the 3 are going to win, and you can make a case for all 3. But going back to the Beckett filly, you got to me, supplemented 50 grand. So I was having a look, and she only needs to come in the top 3 to sort of make a profit here. I think fourth was about 39, 40 grand last year. So the Connections are probably going to get some of their gamble back. She gets £3 here as well. But as you said, Emmet, it's just the record of the fillies. Only a couple user-friendly, 1992 and Simple Verse 2015 would be the worry. But going back, sort of blowing our little trumpet from last week, Kalpana. You got to me running that Ribbonsdale, came 4th, Kalpana 3rd. Franked the form massively last week as well. Will it stay the longer trip? Hasn't run over this far yet, mile 6. I think she probably will, based on what we've seen recently, the way she was sort of finishing the races. But she's going to sort of come against 3 O'Brien horses here. Illinois going to be the favourite. For me, I don't know, just one win in its last 6 would be the little bit of a worry for me. Obviously, the Vulture's the best trial for this, and you just think 7 runs. It's going to be the out and out stay here. The Donny Straight's going to suit, but is Illinois tad exposed? Is there a lot left to him? Did it have a hard race in the Vulture? Coming second there. We'll see. Grosvenor Square is obviously going to boot out in the lead, and we'll see. But I think Doncaster's quite a hard track for the front runners to hang on. It's a long old straight there, and you just wonder whether Grosvenor Square is going to set it up for something else. And so that brings me on to my main O'Brien pick is going to be Jan Bruegel, I think. Just the 3 runs, unbeaten. Yes, a bit raw. Is it going to have the experience for a race like this? And no Ryan Moore at this time, and I think he made a difference last time out, and he won the Gordon Stakes. A couple of winners have gone on to win the Ledger, 60s Icon and Conduit in sort of fairly recent years. I think the horse will stay. I think the extra trip, and obviously the form has been franked with the power horse winning the Nashville Derby. I can't remember what it's called now. Bellum Justin.
That's him, yeah.
The Frankie winner there. So I think that there's a lot of sort of ticks there when you look back on the form. I think Ryan would have taught the horse quite a lot last time out, and I just think Sean Levy can just eke out a bit more here. And of the O'Brien ones, obviously you can't rule out Sunway. I've been knocking on the door in some decent races this year as well, and it's actually David Minuccia's birthday today. So
happy birthday, David, or David.
He could be popped up on the old Facey book earlier. I'm friends
with David Minuccia on Facebook, don't you know?
Yeah. So there could be a birthday winner there for him. Christoph Simeon, decent jockey booking with Murphy not riding. But anyway, I'm going to stick with Jan Bugle here for me, Emmet.
Okay, I get it. I completely get it. That Goodwood race has not. I know you were saying it's a good trial. It's funny how we can look at the same information and come to a different conclusion. I don't think it is a good trial for it. Yeah, you're right to mention 60s Icon, a horse I remember very, very fondly for Jeremy Nacita back in the day. Conduit was good enough to be able to go and win back-to-back Breeders' Cup turfs. That's the quality of horse he was. He's the last horse to win the Gordon Stakes and go on to win the St. Leger. So that's a bit off-putting for me. Whereas the Voltager, that's a great trial. You know what else is a good trial for Aidan O'Brien horses? The Queen's Vase. So he's won the Queen's Vase. Leading Light and Kew Gardens won that race before coming on to win the St. Leger. Ran in the Grand Prix de Paris, just like Scorpion did, who won both races in 2005. Second in the Great Voltager, just like Brian Baru was back in 2003. Powerscourt won that race. He went for the Irish St. Leger. Didn't quite work for him. The Voltager has been won, or at least Aidan has run horses in the Voltager, like Continuous, Brian Baru, Kew Gardens, Milan back in the day. I think he's just going to take a lead from Grosvenor Square. Ironically enough, there's only one horse in this race who's won really wants to go forward, that is Grosvenor Square. Nobody else wants to. The two that will press him are his stable companions in Jan Bruegel and Illinois. They want to be ridden prominently. So how far clear does Grosvenor Square get? I don't know. If he gets as far clear as he did the last day, this race is over. He will win. If he gets as far as clear as he did against Tower of London, that required an extraordinary performance from Ryan Moore and Tower of London that day to get up and win. And Gavin Ryan was on board that day. He'll win on that form. And he's a half-brother to an Irish Derby winner in Sovereign. Sovereign is the other one. Jan Bruegel is the full brother to Irish Derby winner Sovereign, who also won a Queen Alexandra Stakes winner in Dawn Rising, so he'll stay all day. He'll stay longer than the mother-in-law. Grosvenor Square is a half-brother to the Irish Derby winner and Queen's Vase winner, Santiago. His dam stretches back to one of the greatest broodmares of all time in Urban Sea, so he's bred to be getting better with age, and that seems to be what's happening. But Illinois is a half-brother to an Arc and King George winner in Daydream. And he just has that more proven form, and that's reflected in the price. But I think that Queen's Vase performance was really, really good. Even his defeat to Ambiente Friendly, that reads very well at Lingfield. He was beaten only by the Arc second favourite in the Grand Prix de Paris, and last time out came unstuck against an Irish Derby winner in Los Angeles in the Great Voltigeur. He's rock solid. He'll take all the beating here. I do think this is going to be an Aidan O'Brien 1-2-3. I really do. And I think the one that will give him the most to do is Grosvenor Square. It's hard to make all the running at Doncaster. But just put into context, Peter, if you wouldn't mind. Like, do you think he's going to back that level of performance up? Because you were very, very bullish. It's easy in hindsight. But you were very, very bullish that he would win the other day. And Absurd has come out from that race. I wouldn't say he ran his race that day, but he's come out and won a listed contest at Chester since. Tower of London, we know, is a very good horse. And he almost beat him.
Well, I mean, it's a funny one, Emmet, because they're really the only two pieces of form. How many times has he ran? He's ran, I think 7? Yeah, 7 times. They're the only two pieces of form that kind of came out of nowhere, and he's kind of taken a step up, but that's obviously to do with the way he's been ridden. He's been ridden quite aggressively. I think he's nearly unbeaten every time he's led, apart from when Tower of London mowed him down late on. That's why I said at the start, it's a hard one to work out. I mean, Jan Bruegel is bringing in like a lot of potential. I mean, I said earlier on when I was previewing it that he'll need to improve. I think he will need to improve, but I mean, his last win has already been franked and worked out well. These O'Brien horses, when O'Brien steps one up and trip, especially the top class horses, they always improve for it, 99 times out of 100. So I really don't find much between the three of them at all. That's why I'm going for Grosvenor Square. I wouldn't read. I mean, the last time he won at the Curragh, yes, I thought he'd win. He was odds on. I said 1-2 was a good price, and I was right, but it doesn't take a genius to work that out. Absurd completely underperformed. The rest of them are much of a muchness without being disrespectful to them.
No,
but I mean, he still did it impressively. He still won by 20 lengths. And the thing is, it was the way he won as well. He just went to relentless gallop and just kept going. Now, as you boys have pointed out, Doncaster is a harder track to do that than the Curragh. So, the straight, 4 furlongs in Doncaster or something like that? I can't remember off the top of my head, but it will be, the line won't come as quick to him as it did in the Curragh. But I'm just hoping Gavin can work it out in front and get the fractions right and get a lead that he won't be stopping. So get a lead that he can hang on to. So whether or not the others mow him down, which is possible, I don't know. But I'll stick with him at the prices. He's the outsider of the three.
I mean, you look at the pace, Andy. This is just very, very simple. It's going to be a steady pace. It's going to be set by Grosvenor Square. The only horse who was able to beat him in the last 2 runs is a proper stayer in Tower of London.
I don't think it'll be a steady pace. I think he'll do what he's done the last 2 runs. But look, who knows what the lads want? So I don't know. Who knows what do they want to win? Who knows?
Well, essentially what I mean is no one's going to challenge him for the lead. But you could
sure
make the argument
they
that
burst themselves.
Yeah, you could make the argument that You Got To Me would do that. And I've heard someone say that, but that doesn't make any sense. You Got To Me's form has improved for being held up. So why would you revert back to
Nobody's going to take on Grosvenor Square. Anybody that suggests that is clueless.
Yeah. So
it'll boot out in front, and we'll see. I mean, it's obvious thing to say, but it's either going to stay there or it's going to set the race up for Illinois. And if Jan Bruegel stays, we think it. I think we all agree that I think Jan Bruegel will. I think we're all in agreement as well that the Beckett horse, You Got To Me, is going to be ruled out from all three of us. I mean,
I wouldn't rule her out totally now. I have to say, I wouldn't rule her out totally, but I don't think she'll win, but it wouldn't surprise me if she did.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the official ratings. I mean, Grosvenor Square 113, Illinois 116, Jan Bruegel 114. So that tells its own story.
Yeah,
we're saying you can make cases for all three of them. We can go round in circles and But for me, at the prices, Illinois, yes, probably the most likely winner. Top rated in the field. It's just the fact that the one win for me in the last 6, and it's only won twice as well from 7. Yes, I think it's always been placed. It's always been in the top 3, but that would just be the slight little niggle for me. Is it sort of win to run sort of strike rate? Does it? That would, and also the price. When there's so little between the 3 O'Brien horses that we all think, then surely you got to go for the bit more value, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that. There's a downside to Jan Bruegel's lack of experience, which is he lacks experience, which you kind of need to win a St. Ledger. The upside is you have no idea how good he could be. And there could be a massive amount of improvement. And there's almost certainly going to be improvement for going up in trip. Grosvenor Square has the proven stamina. We already know he's going to do it. And we already know Illinois will too. And just the way this race keeps being run in my head, I just keep thinking, Illinois wins. Because Grosvenor Square
I can see where you're coming from. Yeah, Illinois is obviously the most solid one. The race is going to be teed up perfectly for him. He's going to get a strong pace, which he needs because he brings the best form into the race and he'll stay all day. So, it's just whether or not Grosvenor Square, in my mind, can nick it from the front. We'll see. And by the way, I was surprised. I know Aidan had said a while ago that he wasn't going to run Los Angeles in this race, but I would have thought this would have been the perfect race for that horse rather than Champion Stakes. But we'll see.
Well, we will come back to that in a few minutes' time because there's some interesting things to be said about Los Angeles in the Irish Champion Stakes. Final selections for the St. Ledger. Andy?
Jan Bruegel, if we're going to pin one.
Grosvenor Square, but an O'Brien 1, 2, 3. In what order? I don't know.
We can't do the TriCast because it's a 7-runner race.
Oh no, you can. In Group 1s you can, yeah. In group races you can. There will be TriCast.
We can with our friends at the Tote. I've tried it.
The bookies.
I've tried it with the bookmaker that normally offers that, where you can take fixed odds on what it's going to be, and it just says forecast. But no TriCast.
Oh, well, I don't know about fixed odds, but there will be a TriCast dividends with the bookmakers. Of
course.
They'll cut that down as much as they can.
Oh, yeah. Well, of course they will. That's just how the corporate bookmaker works. I think Illinois wins. The value play, in my mind, is Grosvenor Square, because you know what he can do. And you know how he's going to be.
So we've gone for 3 different O'Brien horses. 3
different O'Brien horses from 3
One of us is going to be
people.
right, lads.
Whoa. And it's You Got To Me who knows.
No way.
Yeah, somewhere Monday's show will begin with Sam Morgan gave you the winner of the St. Ledger with Sunway 2 months ago. Well done, Sam. So, dearie me. Yeah. I think Illinois is going to win. All right, we'll briefly talk about some of the other races at Doncaster, beginning with the Champagne Stakes, the Group 2 over 7 furlongs, where Chancellor is the 6-4 favourite with Jeff Banks bet as we record. Right there, right now, 100-30 for Ross O'Ryan, Richard Spencer. Jamie Spencer is on Wolf of Badenoch, a 4's shot, and Aidan O'Brien is sending over 2. Aftermath, son of Justify, who is the first choice and yet is second of the betting for whatever reason. He's a 12-1 shot. Wayne Lorden on board. Gavin Ryan is on Monumental, who Wayne has ridden in his 3 starts but chooses to ride Aftermath, the son of Justify instead, yet Monumental is the shorter price. Try and figure that one out. Maybe it's all academic, Andy, because maybe somebody else is going to win. Who do you think?
Something else is going to win, Emmet. Yeah, I mean, Brian's won this a couple of times in the past, but I'll be taking on his two runners here with the Hugo Palmer horse at the bottom, Wolf of Badenoch. There's a couple of sort of interesting stats here. 17 of the last 23 winners of this 2-year-old race have been sort of foaled in February or March, and this March foal here was. I just think that the way the horse has been winning from the back, the amount of ground it made up at Goodwood, and you know the form has been franked as well with Cool Hoof Luke winning the Gym Crack last week. Symbol of Strength won at Kempton as well. And I just think the long Donny Straight is going to be perfect for this horse. You know, it's a course and distance winner as well. I just think that it might find itself a little bit outpaced in the first half of the race, but I think that of the way it's been running, it's just going to be perfect for Donny. Jamie Spencer's on it, and yeah, I just think that's the most likely winner for me. Wolf of Badenoch.
Peter, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with Andy. There's 6 runners in this race, and there's a good few that like to lead. So Jamie Spencer is going to love that, you know. Just going to be a lot of pace on. So hopefully he wakes up in time this time and gets the horse moving forward faster. I'm not talking particularly about this horse, but just the way he rides in general. I think he's. I'd have him close to favourite in this race. He's the highest rated. He's ran 2 races first time out. I actually didn't see his win first time out. One of my cousins pointed it out to me one day, and I agreed with him. I thought, you know, he ran a lovely race first time out and did it nicely. And second time out, he was given a bit to do, and he finished off well against Amori City, who has good form. As Andy just said, the form has worked out with Cool Hoof Luke winning, and I think Amori City was third behind Whistle Jacket. So it brings strong lines of form into the race, and the race is going to be run to suit him. So, yeah, he's the value bet in that race, I think.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I don't have a particularly strong view on this race, so I'm going to skip it in a cowardly act, but I'm going to follow in the 2 boys, quite frankly. The Final Furlong podcast is proudly brought to you by Jeff Banks Bet, where tradition meets cutting-edge technology, and with major flat racing festivals on the horizon and the new jump season about to kick off properly, it's time to leave behind the corporate bookmakers who don't value your loyalty. At this point, you've got to be fed up of their restrictions, endless affordability checks, and losing out on incentives just because you dare to win a bet. Jeff is the bookmaker fighting for your right to bet, giving you the freedom to enjoy British and Irish racing the way it should be, and you can watch all that racing on the Jeff Banks Bet app. So say goodbye to bookies who want you to lose your hard-earned money on their online casinos, and say yes to unbeatable odds and a bookmaker that truly values your custom, Jeff Banks Bet. Final Furlong podcast listeners who sign up to Jeff Banks online using the promo code FFP500 can get 10% of any net losses returned as cash after your first month of betting up to £500. It's an offer you won't see anywhere else. Visit jeffbanks.bet today and enter promo code FFP500 and join the excitement. That's jeffbanks.bet using promo code FFP500, because your betting experience deserves more. To the 225, the Portland 5.5 furlongs, our old friend Chagrin and American Affair, who both clashed only a week ago. Did I get it right that time? No. I was right, but I was persuaded by 2 other people to go and back another horse. They were right about everything else, though, so it's okay. It's fine.
Right.
He is the third. You got a lot right last week, my man, and it was very, very good for us. So that's
you did,
okay.
yeah.
That's all right. You both did,
and so did you, Emmet. Well, you boys did better than I did. You boys did brilliant last week.
Thank you, my friend. If you told me that. If you told me on Thursday that, by the way, Kalpana is going to be even money, I'd have laughed at you. When the prices came up, I thought, oh, obviously the Haggis horse came out. Hamish is a non-runner. No, he's there. Yeah. Astonishing stuff.
Well, I think what that indicated, I don't know, but I think a lot of people kind of knew. Andy had pointed it out in the preview that maybe Hamish wasn't going to run up to form. But when the markets swing like that, it's more to do with somebody probably getting wind that one of the main other fancies is going to underperform.
Yeah.
And that obviously was Hamish, so they kind of knew they only had one to beat, and they hammered into her. You boys started it.
Maybe.
You boys started it. You made great points.
The form was there for all to see.
Yeah. We can confirm nor deny anything. Cover up for the Godolphin Boys in Blue, but for John and Teddy Gosden, Kieran Schumacher on board an 8-1 shot American Affair. Back out again to rematch with Chagran at 10-1 shot. And old friend Al Bashir, 12-1. Are you going to be sticking with Al Bashir, Peter?
Well, yes, I am. I put him up the last time he ran. He was 12-1, the outsider of 7 runners, and Holly lost the race. There's no point to beat about the bush. He just waited too long to go for the horse. I know the horse well. I know how he needs to be ridden, but she timed it wrong. And don't get me wrong, she's a great jockey and she's an asset to having a horse. But when you put up on a 12-1 in a 7-runner race and ends up 9-2 and should have won by a length in a 5 furlong race, it hurts you.
Yeah.
But hopefully she'll get it right tomorrow. This track is going to suit him. He's gone from 101 the last race because he was wrong in the ratings, hence the price the last time. He's now 105, so he's back. He's edging up in the weights again, so he's not getting any younger. But he's had excuses. In Goodwood, it the didn't suit. In York, drawn wrong, and in Beverley should have won. So I think he's going to run a mighty race. And what are we? How many runners? We have 22. You'll get 5 places. Yeah, I'm going to stick with Al Bashir. I think he's going to be flashing home. I hope 105 is still doable for him. I'm a bit concerned that he's starting to reach now, Mark, that, life is going to become more difficult for him. But he was a very impressive winner in Ascot off 99. And I actually thought he ran well in Goodwood off 104 because I thought he hated the track and with the track bias and everything. So I think he'll go close, and yeah, I'm definitely going to be tipping him up and backing him and sticking with him. Of the other two you mentioned, I think American Affair could possibly turn the form around in Chagran because American Affair raced in the worst part of the track at Haydock a week ago. But then again, you've Ross O'Ryan riding Chagran and Paul Mulrennan riding American Affair, and Ross O'Ryan is a different league to Paul Mulrennan in my mind, so that can make a difference between the two of them. But I'm going to stick for Al Bashir each way and hope he gets the gaps laid on and Holly doesn't do a Jamie Spencer.
What about draw, Peter? Are you worried that draw?
Well, she's going to be, again, I presume Holly's just going to drop her out and she can pick where she wants to go. So there'll be 2 groups, I presume. I don't know. Hopefully she picks the right group. You tell me about the draw, Andy. You're the man for the draw.
Well,
you don't want to be drawn low, Andy, isn't that right?
Well, you don't really, but I mean, yeah, this is obviously a race that has 20 odd runners in anyway, so the old draw stats are going to be a little bit skewed to double figures because naturally there's going to be more runners that that are coming out from double figure stalls anyway. But yeah, 17 of the last 22 come from a double figure stall, so it's quite a big old chunk there. But saying that,
are you listening to this, Peter? Are you listening to this?
Yeah, I don't listen to Andy at all.
I wouldn't need.
Sorry, I was just thinking. I can't quite not say this. Could you imagine Peter making that? Which, by the way, he's perfectly entitled to make that comment. It's an opinion. I really like Paul Mulrennan, by the way. But just imagine Peter saying that on ITV, and then turning to Adele. What's your comment, Adele? What do you think?
I couldn't care. I'd say it. I couldn't care. He's not the jockey he was. He's not. He's a lot. He's so much weaker than he was. I actually thought he wasn't trying in horses, but it turns out that's just how he is. He's not the jockey he was. Nobody can watch him riding now and watch him riding 4 or 5 years ago and tell me, of course, injury. I don't know if he's had any bad injuries. I don't know, niggly injuries. But we're all human beings. These things catch up with us like anyone else in any sport. So I wouldn't. In the past, I'd consider him an asset in a horse. Now, I don't think he's a negative, but I certainly wouldn't. I wouldn't back one because he's riding it. If I was choosing between 2 of them, I'd more than likely go for like Ross O'Ryan, for example.
It's going to be some crack when American Affair gets up and beats Al Bashir by a short head.
But Emmet, stop.
Well, Ross and Ryan obviously won this race last year as well. So, and Appleby, so going for the old double. But there's another hefty stat, though, against Albashire, if you do like your trends, which is the age. And 11 of the last 13 have been 5 or younger in the old Portland. So Albashire coming in at 6. But that, again, if you do like your stats, that will knock out a fair few. Looking at it, there's quite a lot of 6-year-olds in there, there's a 7-year-old as well. So, that will probably cut the field in half if, we think that's going to continue. Like I said, we won it last year. Chagrin going again, up £3 for the recent Haydock win, but it's quite short. But I mean, favourites haven't got a bad record in it, actually. 5 of the last 22. So, considering the competitiveness of the race. But I'm going to look elsewhere for that one. I think it'll be there or there. Horse. Albashire, ran all right in the Bullet last time, didn't it? But just the weight, the age.
Andy, come on. She ran better than all right. Come on, Andy.
Well, I had the winner in the Bullet.
Yeah, you did have the winner, I know. But you owe Holly a drink for that. Come on.
One, Robert Cowell. Anyway, so I'm gonna. But there are a couple of bigger prices. The first one is quite a hefty price, I think, probably maybe 25s or 33s. And the reason here is that the Great St Wilfrid at Ripon has been a fairly good guide to this race. 7 of the last 22 winners ran in that race. And I had a little search through, and there's only one horse that ran in the Great St Wilfrid that is running here, and it's the Tim Easterby one, Minella Scouse. 5 winners, 5-year-old, ticks that stat. Lightweight, it's only got 8 stone 9, I think, a couple of pounds lower from last time. I think we can ignore its last run, which was on the all-weather at Southall, but be cut back 3 runs ago, it was a decent winner at Chepstow. And I think that, yes, it's up in the ratings from that Chepstow win, but that might be, it's massive, it might even be 50 to 1, but it's drawn low, which is, I'm sort of telling everyone to back high horses, but it's just the Great St Wilfrid stat, it's an interesting one. There's only one runner in here that's running out, but the main pick is going to be Vintage Clarets here. Richard Fahey, and I just think that this horse, it comes to the boil normally around this time of year. And I just think last time, 8th at York of 22, it's only beaten just under 3 lengths, I think, by JM Jungle. It's down a couple of pounds. Jamie Spencer's on. So he could have the first 2 winners here, Donny. He was 5th in the race last year off a mark of 94, I think, and it's running off, what's it running off now? 90, is it? So it's £4 lower than last year. Won twice in 2023 as well, in September, in October. So again, this is its time of year. If it doesn't win on Saturday, put it in your trackers, because I think it will win, next time out or whatever. It will pick up one of these sort of late season big handicaps. Vintage Clarets, and the other one as a little tentative, just because of the Great St Wilfrid, is that Minella Scouse. Big price.
Just to say, Andy, you were going on about the draw. No, you're the man for the stats, not me. But looking at the pace map, the speed does look high, which obviously wouldn't be ideal for Albashire. You have Haya Matey drawn 19, like Sabola Long. Got It is another one, as we know, from Goodwood, who just goes from the front. I think he's drawn close to, where's he drawn? Get It, sorry, he's drawn 18. So that, you're right, that could be a negative for Albashire. But in today's racing and the results so far, in biggish fields, draw is not that bad. Low draw is not that bad a draw, but the pace could fall on the other side for Albashire. But who's to say Holly won't tack over there after the first half furlong? I don't know. I hope if he's in the right group, I think he'll win.
Yeah, and also, 2 of the last 3 have been drawn low. Last year's winner, Anaf, was drawn 12, but before that, Call Me Ginger was in 3, and before that, Hurricane Ivor was drawn 5. So, we're not totally, they've got a chance no draws, but
do they normally, in these type of races in Doncaster, is it normally 2 groups or one big group in the middle of the track?
I don't know. I'm not gonna guess.
Right.
Even.
Okay. Hopefully, it's one big group.
Yeah, I mean, you got 22 runners, so yeah, hopefully it is one big group, and that will probably.
I love that.
Yeah, that would help. Yeah. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see if the stats hold up or not. But as I say, it's generally been a race for the sort of 5-year-olds or younger, and the higher draw, you can probably whack out at least half the field that way, and then it will narrow your search. But we'll see.
So you're telling me Al Bashir has no chance?
No, not at all. I think.
Oh, come on, Andy! You're telling him he's wasting everyone's time. No chance this horse has got.
Just say it, Andy.
Zero chance.
Just say it. Come on, drawn low, 6-year-old. Come on, Andy. Say it. Is that the lay of the day, Andy?
Not at that price. No way. No chance.
I'm with you with Vintage Carrots, by the way, for our old friend Jamie Spencer to come flying at the finish, hopefully not too late. I thought he ran very well at York, considering things did not pan out very well for him early on, and his mark just keeps on tumbling. Now, that can tend to mean there's a reason for that, and it's not good. But I think he was better at Ascot than it looks on paper. I think he was much better at York than it looks on paper, and I'm pretty certain he's going to be winning sooner rather than later. And given the fact that he's got a high draw in a race that should be run to suit, I'd be sick if I didn't take that 16-1 with Jeff Banks bet. So Vintage Clarets for me as well. This is a paid advertisement from BetterHelp Therapy Online. What are your self-care non-negotiables? Maybe you never skip leg day or therapy day. When your schedule is packed with kids' activities, big work projects, and more, it's easy to let your priorities slip. Even when we know what makes us happy, it's hard to make time for it. But when you feel like you've no time for yourself, non-negotiables like therapy are more important than ever. If you've ever been in therapy, then like me, you know how beneficial it can be. But it's not just for those who've experienced major trauma. It's helpful for learning positive coping skills and setting boundaries. Therapy empowers you to be the best version of yourself. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a registered therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. With almost 5,000 therapists in the UK already, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a wide variety of expertise. Visit betterhelp.com/furlong today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/furlong. This is a paid advertisement by BetterHelp. Give online therapy a try at betterhelp.com/furlong to get 10% off your first month and get on your way to being your best self. The Final Furlong podcast is proudly brought to you by Jeff Banks Bet. Join the excitement and sign up to Jeff Banks online now to get 10% off any net losses returned as cash after your first month of betting up to £500 at jeffbanks.bet.